Hi everyone, I just got my samples of the Lessebo color line, and so I want to review that, give you my thoughts. I did some print samples, and I'll show you how it compares to other things that we already know and love. If you're new here, I'm Lainey. I'm a wedding invitation designer, and these papers have been billed kind of as a new line that will replace the Keaykolour line that recently went out of production. I don't necessarily think it does a great job of that. It does have some new things that we don't have elsewhere, and I also think it provides kind of a secondary option for some of the colors that we already know and love in the color plan line. I think it's most similar to that line, not so much the Keaykolour line that went out of production, but it does have some good options and secondary things if color plan is out of stock for some reason. And there are a couple colors that color plan does not have, or that I think this line does better. And then I was able to get from Cardstock Warehouse, some of them were available in 83-pound cover, some of them were available in 100-pound cover, and some were available in 111-pound cover. And so I found this kind of interesting. There didn't seem to be a lot of rhyme or reason to which ones were available in 100 versus 111. And then Announcement Converters is carrying theoretically the whole line that they carry, although I haven't cross-referenced every single color, in the 83 and the 111-pound cover, none of them in the 100-pound cover. And then they also have an 81-pound text. So all that to say, I found it interesting that none of them seem to be carrying everything in the same things, same weights and same color options. But I think the line overall is pretty good and provides some things. There's specifically two colors that I think you're absolutely going to love. So let's hop over there. Okay, I mentioned Cardstock Warehouse and Announcement Converters are carrying this. I was able to get like full page samples from Cardstock Warehouse and a full swatch book from Legion Paper, who is also carrying this as well, and they have certain things in stock. It seems mostly the 120 GSM, 220, and 300, although it looks like the black is available in a 600 GSM, which is kind of awesome too. So first of all, how do these guys print? So I printed the black on a few different colors. Here's on the moss. These pass on my HP. I printed on the thinner 83-pound text, 83-pound cover. And they pass the rub test pretty sufficiently. I also have low stock. These look pretty good. I also did whiting printing. This Amazon color is freaking amazing. It's so beautiful. And with my HP, let's see. I do notice a difference after the rub test on white, so this is one of those things where you might want to get these professionally done, just kind of the same as color plan. In my opinion, it prints very similarly to color plan. It feels a little bit smoother than color plan, so I think it did take the white ink a little better, but again, doesn't fully pass the rub test. Here's another example where you can kind of see how that rubbed off. I also found that they printed kind of differently, so you can see how this like white flood printed on this rhino color versus over here. This is the purple haze color, but you can see it really did not take the ink as well. So I do think this was only one sheet, so you kind of never know, but I do think you might want to kind of test it out or just get the white ink professionally printed. However, on this rhino color, it looks beautiful, really beautiful. Yeah, there we go. I'm not adhering at all. You can really see how that didn't quite work. So again, the black is going to be fine. I think the white, you know, kind of same as color plan. We still just want to go with a professional print shop. For instance, these were professionally printed, I assume, and they're doing really well. I also had these done with Artist Hair Studio. This is all of their colored papers are Lessebo colors, and these pass the rub test quite a bit better, and just in general are a bit more opaque. Same thing that I've generally found with whiting printing. It's just a little more opaque with those more professional printers. But they look beautiful. I mean, this combo, incredible. I also printed this one on white because, this combo is so good. Okay, so I mentioned that there are a couple colors that are similar to color plan line, and then there are a couple where this line really stands out. These two specifically are perhaps my favorites. This is the Lagoon and the Amazon. Those two are places where this really stands out. We all love a good dusty blue. So this misty blue is really nice, and the steel blue. So I feel like in general, the blues are where this line really, really shines, specifically these four. I also like this aubergine color. I think it's a little different than anything. It's kind of darker than it appears on the screen right now. And I think that is one example where this line excels over others. I'll just quickly kind of go through and show you a lot of these colors. The sunset and sunflower are decent options for like a deep yellow. I know that's kind of a popular color. The brick is a nice terracotta. The bubblegum, blossom, flamingo are all lovely, but nothing super standout. I like this purple haze as well. It's got a lot of blue tones you can't really see here, and I'll compare it to some other things in just a second. But in general, you'll see like these are very reminiscent of color plan. These are very reminiscent of things that we already have in general. I think some of this is a little different too. So the Sahara and the Shiitake are nice as well and might be a little different than some things we have. But in general, you know, we're seeing very similar things to what's in color plan outside of, I think, this blue section really as a standout. So let's compare things to other colors that we already have. I have this aubergine up. So this is how it compares to Prune from Keaykolour. In my opinion, there's a lot more red on screen. So these are much more, let's see, I can get those to adjust a little. These are pretty much your classic, like deep, rich purples. It's very, very close to Prune, but a little bit grayer than Prune. These two, the closest things I really found to this Amazon. We have the Peacock Teal, which is metallic. And then that Atoll from Keaykolour, but this is like deeper, grayer, bluer. It's so nice. Definitely think you're gonna love this. And then with the Lagoon, we've got this Berrylicious. I thought was very similar. This is also Lagoon, also metallic from Cards and Pockets, and then Caribbean Blue from Keaykolour. So I do see how we're saying like this will take over the Keaykolour line or make up for it in some ways, but I think these are different. I think these are unique and things we haven't really seen before. Vista is very close to that. The Cardstock Warehouse didn't have 100% of the colors, so that's why we got this guy. This purple haze really reminded me of Vista. Vista is a very purple blue, and I feel like the purple haze is a very blue purple blurble, if that makes sense. It's even bluer than it's really showing up here. Without comparing it to anything else blue, you'd almost say it was blue. And I think the Vista is a good comp as well for kind of this misty blue, just to show you it's about that tone, but a lot bluer. Here's New Blue as a comparison. So the misty blue is fairly close to New Blue, but I feel like it's a little grayer. And then we have the Steel, which is nice. This is Steel from Keaykolour. So the misty blue and the steel blue are both going to be like darker than this. And this one's so close to Cards and Pockets Dusty Blue, which I didn't have a sample of in my hand. Okay, the greens. Okay, two main greens. We have moss on the left and seaweed on the right. Seaweed is very close to racing green. However, I think racing green's a little more blue and seaweed stays more green, in my opinion. It's very similar tonally, but yeah, I think you can kind of see it right now. That stays a little bit more green, whereas racing green pulls blue. Sometimes I don't like that, so I'm excited to have this as an option. This one is moss, so here's forest. It's kind of like the mid-green version of forest, if that makes any sense to anyone. It's like got those dusty undertones, but it's as dark as forest. And so I really like it. It's kind of dark sage. Here we have Sequoia from Keaykolour, Holly. These are very, very similar. Again, this is going to pull a little bit bluer in my opinion. This is so close to Racing Green. And this one stays a little bit more green. And then here's Meadow, which I think is kind of unique, but just to see those tone differences. The navy blue is really nice. I find it to be just really, really classic. It's pulling really purple on screen right now. You know, blues are hard to photograph. I find it to be really classic. Here's Cobalt, and here is Imperial. So it's very, very close in real life to Imperial. Very close. A little bit, maybe a little brighter, maybe a little. It's pulling so purple on screen that it's hard for me to say I don't see that in person, but it's very, very close to Imperial Blue. But they also have this Evergreen, and this is the comparison to Forest. I find this to be like a really true Kelly, if that makes sense. It's brighter. I'm not going to go over every single one, I promise, but these are just some of the exciting ones. Flamingo and Bubblegum. This color is really popular this year. Here's the Watermelon, Candy, and Fuchsia. So it's definitely pulling a lot more pink, less purple than the Fuchsia. I'll take that out. It's more pulling towards that watermelon color. To me, this Bubblegum is just such a classic Barbie pink. Like, it is the exact example of Barbie pink. This was a little too dark. I think this is perfect Barbie pink. And it's pulling a little differently on screen. It's a little more purple in real life. But the Candy and the Flamingo are very close. I think this is a really nice option. Both of these pinks are great. And then some of the neutrals, just so you can see them. Pashmina, Shiitake. Okay, Granite, Dove Gray, Cement, Pashmina, Shiitake. Here we have Cobblestone from Keaykolour. So I think Pashmina is like kind of a similar vibe to Mist, but it's got more green undertone. Cement also has some green undertone as compared to Cobblestone. Here's Real Gray. It's very similar to Real Gray. I would say a tad greener, I think. And then their cooler, more blue gray is going to be this Dove Gray. Here's Gray Fog, if that helps. A lot lighter, a lot bluer. So just a few little comparisons there, but I think these are all really nice. I think kind of that shiitake color is unique. And there's also a couple in here that I don't have in the larger sheets. So Sahara, compare that to Biscuit. So I think it's a more yellowy, creamy color. The taupe is really, really nice. It's just classic, and it's not my version of taupe, but it's very, very pretty. And then Pashmina, let's pull out Mist again just to show you that. So love all these neutrals. I think they're really nice in general, and make a good, kind of put together a good full package. So we have white, vanilla, and ivory. I'll throw Mist in here and Biscuit in case that's helpful. And then let's see, this is Cards and Pockets, just regular white. So this one is definitely pulling like bluer, more bright, contrasty white. So from Printswell, we have bright white here. So it's almost even a little brighter than that, but I would use these two together, no problem. Natural white is pretty close to the ivory. This is their standard white, also fairly close to the ivory. Here you can see how it compares. And then the soft white is kind of close to the vanilla. So if you want some kind of comparisons, I would say the white is similar to bright white. I wouldn't necessarily match it with the white from Cards and Pockets, so it's definitely brighter than that. So their white is very bright white. Their vanilla is very, very yellow, creamy, closer to the soft white, but honestly even more yellow. And then the ivory is kind of close to the natural white and white, but I think like the natural white gives really brown undertones and the ivory is definitely pulling more yellow. So I just fanned these out again for you. I think I would compare this more to the Color Plan line than the Keaykolour line. It's a good option to have if something from Color Plan is sold out, for instance. You can't find it in whatever you need. I think the blues are going to be standout, specifically this Lagoon and this Amazon color. I like some of these darker yellow orange colors. Some of the greens are a little bit dustier and a little bit more true to what I would like than some of the color plans. So I'm excited about it. Artist Air Studio is using it for their colored paper. Announcement Converters has it, Cardstock Warehouse has it, Legion Paper has it. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a good addition to our overall repertoire of papers, but let me know what questions you have about this Lessebo line and if you want to see me review anything else or compare anything, because I know it's helpful to see all of these in comparison to things that we already know and are familiar with. Thanks, everyone.